All right, welcome to training. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
All right, let's try that again. Welcome to training. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. All right, of course we're going to be here till midnight, 1 a.m., right? And you guys are really excited about a whole lot of training. You guys didn't get enough rest last night. You know, too many of those strikes, right? Isn't that what young adults are into these days? All right, of course we're not going to be here until midnight. We're going to be here till what time today?
8:30.
8:30. All right, and then tomorrow we'll be here from what time to what time? That's on Saturday. You can come at 9 if you want, all right? You know, but tomorrow we're going to be here from 12 to 6:30, right? And then we'll finish up on Saturday from 9 to 4. We'll follow up with advanced trainings and team meetings. Our team is awesome, by the way. We're going to talk a little bit about our team. All right, take a lot of confidence in the people you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. Our staff, we have phenomenal staff. We'll talk about them, and I'll introduce our staff and also myself. By the way, again, my name's Ananth Ganesan. I'm the district manager here in the area. Just call me by my first name, Ananth, or Ananth, or you call me Ani G, or whatever, all right? All those things work. Don't call me Mr. Ganesan, though. If you do, I'm going to turn around and think that my dad traveled all the way on over here from Fayetteville, North Carolina, just come visit me. It makes me feel really old. Hopefully, as you guys can tell, I'm not, right? Or at least I'm right? Yeah, so, and I'll tell you a little bit later about how I did get started with the company. But I didn't start out as a college student like many of you guys are in college. I was in between. I actually started in the summer of 2000, in between my first year over at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, used to play college tennis for them, and I ended up transferring to Florida State University over in Tallahassee. And it's actually a pretty funny story about how I did get started with the Cutco. I'll save that for a little bit later. All right, but we're going to go ahead and kick things off with a little video here. Cutco on the Travel Channel, and then we'll do some intros. And if you haven't finished your paperwork, finish that up. I think I might have gotten it from everybody now. All right, how many of you guys have ever seen this TV show before? It's on the Travel Channel. It's called Made in America. Anyone ever seen this show before? If you have, some Travel Channel buffs. Kendra is it Kendra? Kedra. All right. All right. So, all right. I appreciate that. All right, but so Kedra, Travel Channel buff. All right, gotta love it. You know, by the way, Cutco's been on a few different, shows. Do we pay for any of this advertising? Why do they put us on their show? Because we're the best. Take a lot of confidence in that. All right, that you represent quality. All right, love that. It's one of the things that that's one of the reasons why I've been here for 13 years is that we have a phenomenal product. You guys all see Cutco on Modern Marvels a little bit later in training. How many of you have ever seen that show before? A little bit maybe cooler show. Man, Kedra, you're in. It's good. All right, so into TV. All right, I like it. All right, but you guys will see that a little bit later. And by the way, this first aired back in 2005. Every time it rebroadcast, we get a lot of hits as a company. Same thing with the Modern Marvels one. And you guys will see a few of the other tidbits. And by the way, you guys will be able to get on Vector Connect, this website that all these videos are on, and check all this stuff out yourself too here soon enough. All right? But anyhow, Cam, you got it. Thank you. By the way, this show highlights great American-made products showing they make America's finest, and of course Cutco being the world's finest and also made right here in America. They had to have us on the show. On the same episode, I believe they have Burt's Beeswax, which was made right here in North Carolina as well too.
Looking for the soul of America.
I think it's a positive thing, by the way, that we represent high quality, American-made product. I think that's important. Products being made in America, they're good right now, especially in today's day and age.
In this episode, we have ourselves in Durham, North Carolina. Cut to the point in Olean, New York. And learn how not to break the ice between periods. So sit back and relax, because we've got it made in America. This program is produced in cooperation with the Reader's Digest Association. You can find the town of Olean in the southwestern part of New York, along the Allegheny River. It was founded in 1823 as a trading depot to connect New York with the rest of the country. Originally, its name was Hamilton in honor of founding father Alexander Hamilton. But because of a nearby crude oil spring, the name that stuck was Olean, derived from the Latin word for oil. Oh, they were an educated lot back then. Today, they're even sharper. That's because Olean is home to Cutco cutlery. Knives just don't get any less dull than these. Meet Cutco's president, Jim Stitt, a real hair raiser. Sure. It doesn't get more razor sharp than that. I can see you haven't demonstrated this for a while.
I'm trying to hold off for a while this summer.
Cutco was born in 1949 after the marriage of Alcoa, an aluminum company, and Case, a knife manufacturer. The man responsible for why Cutco knives feel so comfortable in your hand was Thomas Lamb, a real stickler for quality. Cutco's 1,000 or so employees make more than 100 kitchen utensils and garden tools. Cutlery this sharp requires an enormous number of steps, most of them done by hand with the aid of machines. The process begins when a press punches out planks of high-carbon stainless steel.
Takes about 35 tons to press out each plate. There's a lot of tons, and it's really fast.
Basically, that's lamps or something. A little stained glass in there. The blades are then tempered.
Now they travel down through where you see these white panels here. This is where the blade gets very hot. We heat it up and then cool it down very rapidly. It gives us the hardness. It also is what creates the corrosion resistance in stainless. Here's where they come off the end, and you can see they're very bright, not real hot. They still have some warmth to them. They've got some warmth to them. If she sends that through while they're still somewhat warm, like a ringer, right, we can actually straighten them a little bit. So we're trying to bring the thing as close as we can to straighten it. We won't get it all the way. We're going to have to fix that a little later down the road when we show you that. We have a 3-step process. Now this is the first step of the heat treating process. This gets us basic hardening.
So you heat them to 1,800 degrees, then you go to 120 degrees below zero.
That will make a full conversion from the soft state to the hard state. So at that point, coming out of those freezers, we will have a very hard but grizzled piece of steel. This is the kind of place you don't want to stick your tongue on. So 120 degrees below zero. The next step we're going to go through, we're going to heat them back up again. We're going to put them in the oven over here. We're going to heat them up to 365 degrees. What that does is remove the stresses in the part.
His
And it will
face
make it
last name
flexible.
is here. Yes.
I'm looking it up.
What we're doing here is we're straightening the blade after they come out of the heat treat.
Z.
We've got a little bit of work in them. Want to try it? Sure, yeah. All right. Let's just do it like this. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is going to be good. There we go. How's that? Wow. Hey, a little bit more.
Having dinner with her tonight, or was it just lunch?
A little bit more. We're going to be making a full running. Hey, oh, hey. Hey, I'm getting there.
Where does she go to school? UNCC.
You got it. Whoa!
Now the blades pass through a machine with 6 automated polishing heads.
Let me check my hairs. Okay, thank you. Okay, what we're doing here is putting the name on the product, made in the USA. That'll last forever, huh? That'll last forever.
Next comes some more straightening. Mike eyeballs the blade against the line on paper and makes any necessary adjustments.
How do we know that line's straight? How do you know that, Mike? You want to try to straighten one for you, Lee? Sure, yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Now what we're going to do is we're cutting this concave edge on there. Steel gets too hot, you ruin the temper of the heat treat. So making sure the coolant is just exactly right is very important in the process. We put this through here, you see the difference in the shine. We're actually putting a satin finish on. Feel how smooth that is. Oh yeah. Now that will make it easier to clean and more corrosion resistant because it's little food particles, iron particles again.
Velvety smooth.
This velvety smooth. Now we're putting the famous double D edge on here. Each one of these little edges is 3 individual edges inside there. Little razor sharp knife edges. It's not a soft cutting action. They're actually individual knife edges in there. You can go ahead and take it, feel, put your finger, just run your fingernail down that one, and then run that one there. Ah! Oh God! Oh my goodness! Oh! Ah! Get it right, Joe. Let it right, Joe.
Now comes quality control, better known as CAT.
What are we doing over here?
Well, I'm the blade inspector. This one here is a bad polish. I don't know if you can see it, but if you look at it, it has like a little bit of a wave to it.
Oh yes,
See that?
only in snow runoff. Only kidding. Right.
Sulcon, the kind of plastic that feels great and polishes beautifully. At last comes honing, buffing, and a final inspection. All that's left now is shipping, direct to the customer. Cutco knives aren't available in stores. You can only buy them from a Cutco representative who comes to your home and demonstrates why they're a cut above. Most of Cutco's reps are college students out of school for the summer. They claim that all they have to do to make a sale is show up, because the knives sell themselves. After all the slicing and dicing, anyone still skeptical is usually won over by the guarantee. It's unconditional, forever.
This is a forever guarantee, doesn't matter who it belongs to, it's guaranteed. It's not, you don't have to show proof of purchase, forever guaranteed. We've been doing this for over 55 years.
Some of the people here do nothing but repurpose products that owners send in for a tune-up. This will look like this when you ship it back. Imagine the grin on their faces when they open that box by Christmas. One of Cutco's most popular products is their shears, which can quickly turn a penny into a half penny. Or less.
Sure, so you're the rest of the basic government product. Oh, look at this. There you are. You can cut up all your money. Be a nice Christmas tree order. Yes, it would. Cutco penny. That's a real person.
That's the real deal, too.
The real deal.
The nature of the work around here allows everyone to be a real cut-up.
Career.
But the only thing they don't cut is
42.
42,000.
Personal. 35.
All right, everybody give it up for the Made in America video. Yay! That's a round of applause. All right, and we're gonna applaud a lot. You guys will see that. It's fine. All right. All right, but if you're a little bit nervous, I know exactly how you feel. Reason being is I sat in those same chairs when I was new, and that's totally okay. Anytime you do anything new, it's a little bit normal to be nervous but excited at the same time. But as training progresses, you will not be nervous anymore. That's my objective, is to burst those fear bubbles. You guys ever heard of that acronym for fear? False expectations appearing real. All right, and as training progresses, by the end of this first day, I think most of you guys will take a 180 in comfort and confidence. By the end of that last day of training, it'll be a complete 360. Probably you'll be burning rubber out of the parking lot saying, man, I cannot wait to get to my first appointment. That's how lit you will be, all right? All right, so, like I said, as training progresses, you won't be nervous anymore. All right, now, and by the way, by the end of training, by the end of that Saturday's training, you'll be fully prepared and ready to do the job and ready for success, right? All right, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, and then we're going to introduce staff. Actually, I'm going to introduce staff first, I'm sorry. Introduce staff first, and then I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves. All right, and just a couple dates you might want to get down. We left up here on the board from our meeting yesterday. All right, you guys will find out what push periods mean, competition periods, where the company runs cool contests. But the coolest contest you guys have, if you ask me, all right, is your first 10 days or faster contest. We can talk about that in a bit. So you guys can write those dates down. SLC push, September 17th through 30th. Talked a little bit about that last time at our team meeting. Only in push coming up October 29th through November 11th. That's where all offices compete, sales reps compete, you can win all different types of stuff. iPads, all kinds of cool stuff, so on top of making money. All right, but let me go ahead and talk a little bit about our staff and some of the people you guys will see on a day-to-day basis. Now, a couple of you might have been interviewed by Mr. White. And Alex was one of our assistants during the summertime. He actually just left for school. All right, he actually transferred. He's an assistant right now in the Greenville, South Carolina office, currently for this campaign. All right, one of our top reps as well in sales, on top of being an office assistant manager. But that did open up a couple opportunities for a few of our up-and-comers who are now on staff. You guys get a chance to meet them at team meetings. We have a very big staff, as you guys can see. One of the reasons why is because we're building a big team here in North Charlotte, and obviously, we want to have the right support system, for our team and all the success we're going to have over the course of this fall campaign. I'll start off with myself. My name again is Ananth Ganesan. I'm a district manager here. If you're wondering what my title is, which means that I do this year round. It's a career position for me. A lot of times people ask me, by the way, I'm not going over any of these statistics, to brag or boast or anything like that, but I want you to take a lot of confidence in who you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. How many of you guys have ever been trained before by somebody who didn't know how to do the job they were training you to do, or had never done that job before? Has that ever happened? All right, and how much confidence did you take from that training or from them? Not very much, all right? So, guys, I want you to take a lot of confidence from myself, also the people that you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. The only way that somebody advances with their company is by being very successful at the sales rep position. So everybody started out, guess where? Right where you guys are sitting right now. All right, I remember being in training, again, 13 years ago in the summer of 2000, like it was yesterday, and I'll tell you a little bit about, that a little bit later in training today. All right, all these people in the back, all started out as trainees at some point, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves here in a minute too, formally too. All right, so if you're wondering, have I sold or do I sell? I love selling Cutco. I have over 700 customers with the company. I personally sold over $260,000 with the Cutco, and one of the things that I love to do now is to train people on how to sell Cutco. That's why I've been a trainer, district manager for over a decade now. I love giving people, back the opportunity that I was given, back in that summer of 2000, and obviously that's what led me to where I am today. So I personally sold $260,000 to Cutco. I've now contributed a little bit over $14 million worth of sales to the company, through running an office. And what's somewhat significant about that is that when you hit $10 million in sales, they induct you into the Cutco Hall of Fame. So now I'm one of only 2 brown people in the Cutco Hall of Fame, so I'm very excited about that. I represent the Indians, right? All right, that's right. We're getting more in there, though. Don't worry. All right. So, anyhow, but Hall of Fame it's not like in sports where it's kind of like an ending point. It's a launch pad more to Cutco, so I've got a lot more to do. I'm actually working hard right now, to earn a possible division manager position, which is the next level. And so that's one of the reasons why I moved up here to North Carolina, is also to train with the best. And you guys know that you're part of an amazing division. You couldn't be selling Cutco in a better area. The Carolina division, just to give you guys an idea, the entire eastern region, which extends all the way up to DC Metro, all the way down to Florida, Puerto Rico, was the #1 division in the entire eastern region, one of the top 5 divisions in the entire company for the summer of 2013, which we're just finishing up right now. All right, so take a lot of confidence in the fact that you're working with a phenomenal division. Guys, one of the reasons why I also love selling Cutco here in Carolina is that we've got all this down-home southern cooking. All right, people love to cook here. All right, one of the things that I've noticed from moving, I ran an office in Orlando, Florida, a very successful office, record-breaking office, Silver Cup office, which basically means national championship. But one of the things that I've noticed from Florida to here in North Carolina is that our average orders increase. We have an above average, average order here in North Charlotte, and I love to think that's because of the great training. All right, that was a little joke, right? But I'd have to say that has to be due to the phenomenal market that we have here in the Carolina division. Our division has one of the best average orders in the company. So we'll talk about it. By the way, what are the averages? Anyone know? Real quick, then I'll go back to Spios and talk about some of the other staff members. Anyone remember the averages from your interview? What's the average sales percentage out of 10? How many people typically on average buy? 6. Very good. You guys got it? 6 out of 10. You guys want to get these down in your notes just so you have them. All right, 6 out of 10 buy. And if for some reason you didn't bring notebook paper or something like that, make sure if you can, try to snag some from neighbor. You need some? All right, we'll get you some. Cam, can you hook up some notebook paper? Thank you, my friend. 6 out of 10 people on average purchase. What's the company average order? You remember? Company average order. Yeah, very good. Very good, Keidra. Company average order. And how many average recommendations per appointment? A couple of these guys need some paper right here. All right. Thank you, Cam, the man. All right, so, and the average recommendations per appointment, you remember? 5 to 10, right? Very good, 5 to 10. Cool. All right, now, and our averages are a little bit above, especially with the average order. Which we'll talk a little bit about that, and why that is, again, more extremely progressive, but I just mentioned one of those reasons. All right, so, anyhow, next up, let me go ahead and introduce Cam. All right, Cam's our district office manager. Come on up, my man. Cam the man. All right, and that's what DOM stands for. Isn't that a cool title? dom of the office, right? So he's a district office manager. He runs the office side by side with me. It's a key position in office, and one of the reasons why he's also our dom is he's training right now to run his own office. He actually just got his letter of intent in, which is basically his letter of commitment, to be a district manager. So he's working hard right now and competing for a top district territory in the Carolina division. All right, and one of those territories in Asheville, and a couple of the other markets that he's really excited about that are open right now. All right, so Cam is also an FSM. What that basically means is he makes our top incentive level. How many of you guys would be excited about or interested in hearing about how you can make bonus, in the world of Cutco? A little bit more, Cam makes a little bit more than 30%. Would anybody be excited about hearing about that? Man, you guys are going to be lit if I'm going to tell you guys about bonus, right? I know this is a good listening group, I guess, right? But, we're going to have to get your guys' energy levels up. All right, so we'll have to wait on bonus. So obviously aren't very excited about it, so maybe it's good. All right, but Cam makes a little bit more than 30%. Still loves to be out in the field and sell. Give you guys an idea. If you guys are wondering if these guys go out in the field and still sell to this point, Cam works a lot in the office. Last week he managed to sell $2,300. Is that right? All right, so right around $2,300 worth of Cutco. So he made a little bit over $1,000 in income, on his sales week, not even counting his office pay and whatnot. So loves to be out in the field and selling Cutco. FSM is the top incentive level that you can be at, and again, a little bit more than 30% you get paid, but we'll have to wait to tell you guys about that because you guys haven't got excited about that yet. All right, so Cam started out in
South Charlotte.
All right, South Charlotte. When did you start out?
2011.
So started out in 2011. All right, and was somebody who started out as a trainee just like you guys. Cam was not the most explosive out of the gate. Some of these other guys, like Brandon he still holds the training sales streak. Brandon training at 45 sales in a row. Now, do you think everybody starts out like that? No, all right? Cam did not start out like that. Cam was not the most amazing out of the gate. All right, the reason why I'm telling you that is because I don't want you guys thinking everybody just goes out and does, amazing things out of the gate. Everybody starts at a different pace, and that's okay. But obviously, you can see Cam still very successful to this point. Cam was somebody, he wasn't the best, he wasn't the worst out of the gate. He was kind of in the middle of the pack. But he was somebody, as he got the extra meetings, as he got the extra trainings, really grew and really learned along the way. One of the things that I love about Cam is he is a great student of the business. Guys, he'll be taking notes on this training seminar, on me running it. Right now, that's what he's doing back there along with these ladies. So, we have a big growth culture in the office, a great learning environment. Our people are always excited about learning more and growing. That's how they also advance the company. Cam is out of college, so not college student like most of you guys. I believe 23 years old, a little bit out of college. So he's excited about career opportunities. Cam is also somebody who is amazing at the virtual demo. He'll be teaching you guys all the virtual demo, which has totally revolutionized our business. Give you guys an idea, that sale that Cam had, Cam also owns the largest order in the office, $4,110 for the summer of 2013 on one sale, and that was on a virtual demo. So a demo with the customer that I believe lived in Atlanta, is that correct? All right, so right outside of Atlanta. All right, so as far as that goes, so you can sell Cutco wherever you like, kind of like T, I would say, right? Whatever you like. All right. So anyhow, Cam, any quick tips you can give to the game to help them and have a fast start?
Thanks, Ani. The big tip I give you is just have a lot of fun with it. That's what I really do on a lot of my demos. It's just I crack jokes, so I'll tell a lot of jokes in the show and get a laugh and have a good time. Just listen to everything Ani has to say. I mean, don't get to this point in the job without.
I pay him to say that.
No, Ani's awesome. He's gonna take it.
All right, thank you, Cam. All right, so have fun on the job, guys. Yes, don't take it so take the job serious, right? But don't take yourself, that serious, ever when you're out in the field. Always remember to have fun. If you forget everything we teach, just remember this here in training. All right, if you forget everything we teach you, just remember this from training. I should say when you're out in the field. Everything we teach you. Cut stuff up and smile. And people buy lots of Cutco from you. All right, it's that easy. All right, so Eric, you handle that. Cut stuff up and smile. You'll rock it this show. All right, so good stuff. Everybody, Cam, bring an applause. All right. Stay right there, Cam. All right, and one of the reasons why we applaud a lot, guys, is our company is based on the recognition of the individual. Which do you guys feel works better, positive or negative reinforcement?
Positive.
Well, what do many companies use a whole lot of? Negative. Like, you don't do this, Sean, this is going to happen to you, right? We feel positive works the best. But if we're going to recognize somebody, if we're going to recognize Cam, we need to give him a great vector round of applause. No too cool for school clappers, right? I saw a couple of you. Most of you guys did a great job on that last one. No like golf claps or claps on your thigh. Let's try this one more time. We want an ear-to-ear smile from Cam right over here. All right, everybody, give Cam a great round of applause. that. All right. Look at that smile. All right. Good stuff. All right. Next up. All right. We've got Mr. Benet right over here. All right. Brandon actually just left the office. He'll be back. I don't know if he's gonna be back in today, but he'll be back in tomorrow to say hi to you guys. All right. He had class today. I know he's got a bunch of class today, and then he also plays rugby over at UNC Charlotte. So today's a big day for him. But Brandon is also a full-time assistant manager in the office, working around the school, and also a field sales manager. That's what FSM stands for. But again, you guys will hear more about that when you guys get excited about bonus. All right, and so all those guys making bonus, making our top incentive. Actually, they're at their top incentive level. There's a few different bonus levels. You got FSL, SFSL, and FSM. You guys will find we have lots of acronyms here in the office, right? When you guys get excited about bonus, you guys can remember. All right, all right. So anyhow, Brandon. Somebody that started out, now this gives you an idea of how quickly somebody can advance with the company. Even though Cam's been working with us since 2011, going on his third year with the company, is that right? All right, so third year with the company. Brandon, somebody that just started out last year, he started out actually right at about the same time that you all are starting out right now with us. Actually, he started out a little bit later in the fall campaign. I want to say he started out at the end of September, but when he stops in, we can give you the appropriate dates and all that kind of stuff. But been working with us for a little bit less than a year right now, but with somebody that really wanted to advance and expressed interest in advancement. So one of the reasons why he did advance is he got himself a key staff. We're going to talk more about key staff a little bit later. That's the inner circle in our office. He got himself on a key staff at a very early stage. He did that by excelling right out of the gate. Somebody that, unlike Cam, he had an amazing fast start. Brandon had 45 sales in a row right out of training before he even had a no sale. All right, so pretty impressive. His first weekend, he actually went back home to Asheville, North Carolina, and he ended up doing, I want to say it was 12 or 13 demos. Ended up selling right at $3,000 in his first weekend of the job. Does anyone know what happens when you hit 3,000? Does anyone remember from the interview? What percentage do you hit there? Yeah, you hit 20%. Very good. All right, so money motivated alcohol. I like that. All right, that's good. All right. So he ended up hitting 20%. So he didn't just hit his first promotion in his first weekend. Ended up hitting his first 2 promotions in his first weekend on the job. Now again, does everybody go out and do stuff like that? No, all right, but people work hard, do out of the gate or have an opportunity to out of the gate as far as that goes. He did do a lot of appointments to get that done, so he went back home and he started out during the school year. He really only worked on the weekends during the school year, because he had a lot of school. He's also got, and he'll tell you guys this, he's got, what is it called? He's dyslexic, that's what it is. So it takes him a little bit longer, sometimes to comprehend things, read things like that. To read a book for some people, might take him, 2-3 times as long. But, guy's super talented fella. He is one of the hardest workers I know. You guys will find that is true. And, there's no such thing as I can't in his vocabulary. That just challenged him to work harder at everything that he's done, as well as Cutco. So even though it took him a little bit longer to learn the manual and get some of that stuff down, guys, we give everything to you on a platter. All right, literally, we have a training manual that's all you have to do is read the white manual and flip the blue book. And guys, guess what's so cool about the white manual? It tells you when to flip the blue book. All right, so it tells you when to flip. All right, so it's literally on a platter for you. All right, but even though it took a little bit longer to learn all that stuff, you really focused, pay good attention. Only worked on the weekends because during the week you really stayed focused on school for the most part. He's a triple major over at UNC Charlotte. He's in between his junior and sophomore year, or junior and senior year, I should say right now. History, as well as communications, as well as marketing major over at UNC Charlotte right now, also playing rugby. And he's also at top incentive level, I believe, right at about 50,000 career sales now. And sold the majority of that just on the weekends around school. And then this past summer, while being a full-time assistant, he was also our #1 sales rep in the office. And had some pretty exciting numbers over the course of the summer. So, but that's that. As you see, just in 1 week, and that was just a few weeks ago to wrap up the summer, he sold $8,541 worth of Cutco in 1 week on the job. Got a pretty exciting paycheck from that, but we won't show you that stuff until you guys get excited about bonus, right? You get to see those guys here on the next page, right? That's a little bit about Brandon. Next up, we got Faith, who I think she's going to try to stop into the office today after class. I know she's got a little din-din set up with you, right, Steph? She told me about that. She's excited about that. She'll catch some dinner with Steph afterwards, so she's going to try to stop in and say hi to you all. All right, but Faith is also UNC Charlotte student as well. All right, Faith is an assistant manager who just transferred into our office. She actually was a full-time assistant out in Winston-Salem, which is her hometown. Also, she's right at about 45,000 in career sales right now, which makes her an FSM at her top incentive level. And Faith will introduce herself, and when she stops in later today, so we'll see that later today. All right, Keegan is a High Point graduate. Are you guys familiar with that college? I believe it's not too far away. High Point University. Where's that at?
Right outside of Greensboro. It's in High Point, but it's right
Yeah,
outside
High
of
Point.
Greensboro.
Private university, real expensive. You know, so that's one of the reasons why he loves Cutco is it's helping pay off all the student loans. You know, he's almost all finished with that, which is pretty impressive because I believe it's like a $40,000+ a year tuition over at High Point University. Pretty expensive but really good school. Keegan just graduated from there. He actually started out with Cutco in 2009, and he started out in the DC metro area. Sold about $50,000 worth of Cutco. He ended up leaving when he moved down to school. He ended up stopped selling Cutco, and he got into the marina business. Was working out at one of the marinas out on Lake Norman, and just really didn't like that opportunity. When he found out that we had an office here in North Charlotte, jumped on boat, and he's been a phenomenal addition ever since. Consistently shipping $2 grand plus a week. And then this past week, and by the way, built his business here in the area from scratch. Literally started with 1 to 2 people that he knew here in the area. One of the spring parents that we were here in Charlotte. So for some of you that are a little bit newer in the area, started out with 1 to 2 people here in Charlotte. And was really blown up in business here in the area. And last week, just over the weekend selling, because we were actually at our sales conference 3, which was over in
Myrtle Beach.
Or was it Myrtle Beach? Sorry, man, I can't believe I couldn't remember that. But it was over in Myrtle Beach. I've been all over the place recently, but I was in Myrtle Beach, so he only sold over the weekend, but did 4 appointments, sold $2,300 over the weekend. He's got a really big average order. Already developed his rec base, over 100 recommendations here and there, and that's just been within the past couple weeks. Then earned himself a spot on assistant manager staff. Very well-versed guy. You guys get a chance to meet Keegan. I believe he's going to stop in later today, so I'll save more of that for when he comes in as well too. All right, and then Will Shea, he's our newest assistant manager right now. He's a part-time assistant in the office. Will was an assistant manager in the Greensboro office, just transferred in. He's also a member of fraternity over at UNC Charlotte, also another UNC Charlotte student. So as you guys notice, even on staff, we have a lot of what? College students. A lot of people are in school doing this around school, and they still love to be out in the field selling. I know he's got a few demos already booked for this weekend. We're ready for big things. All right, so that's a little bit about Will. All right, he'll stop in throughout training and introduce himself to you guys. Would you guys like to meet some of the people on the team? Because even if you guys wouldn't, that's still going to happen. All right, so we're going to call them. We have a training seminar, a very exciting seminar, our first seminar of the fall campaign, really. And we want you guys to meet them, and they might give you a few tips that can help you in success and having a fast start as well. All right? And then next up, guys, we've got, these are the most valuable people in our office. So, and if you can, write these names down so you know you'll be working with on a day-to-day basis. So put a star next to these 3 people's names. Kelly, Lauren, and Caleb. They're the most valuable people in our office. You guys know what? If you can't, can you stack Kelly for me? Alright, the most valuable people in our office, and that's why we call them the MVPs. They're our receptionist staff. Kelly's our receptionist manager. She's been working with Cutco now for 3 years. She started out in Hickory office 3 years ago. Transferred in here. Once she started going to school, UNC Charlotte. She's in her senior year. She's an English major. Lauren's an English major. Michaela's a social work major. There she is. And the reason why they are the most important people in our office is because without them, there would be no who? There would be no you. Very good, all right? So if you remember who you talked to over the phone, all right, if you remember talking to Kelly, what's up, Eddie? All right, there he is. There's the Fayetteville manager, too. He's in to watch. See, this is a big deal, guys, all right? So they're all this is special training, all right? But anyhow, Kelly, if you remember talking to Kelly, or if you remember talking to Lauren or Kayla, whoever it was, make sure to give them a high five or a thank you when you see them in and around the office. Treat them like gold. Or if you don't remember who you talked to, just thank them all. Because again, without them, we would not be here. So everybody give Kelly a great round of applause. Kelly, also a Charlotte student, as I mentioned before, English major, graduating senior year. Why do you work here at Cutco? Why do you work here for 3 years now?
Everybody's fun. It's a fun place to work, and you can work around your classes. So.
Yep, flexible, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And she is also known as the artist here in the office, right, as well too. So you guys have got to check out some of her artwork. It is beautiful, all right? She has done a phenomenal staff portrait of recently. So maybe check it out. All right, Alex drew that?
Yes, everybody thinks it's me. Right in the studio. No, Alex definitely drew it.
That's why
He drew
his.
the hot pocket.
That's why his says I did not draw this.
Exactly.
I just got it. I just looked at
Alright.
it recently, and I was like,
How
oh.
did you not get it?
Alright, so anyhow, thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Alright. Hey, if you can, shoot me a text just now. We got 7:45. Thank you. Alright, now, And Lauren, as I mentioned before, I already mentioned that English major, Kayla social work major. You guys will meet them. I believe you'll meet Kayla tomorrow, and then Lauren won't meet till next week when she's in the office. So she's out in the back half. But that's that. And I forgot to mention, Lauren's been here for over a year now. Kayla just started with us at the very beginning of the summer, doing a phenomenal job in the office, right? So that's a little bit about our office staff. I want to introduce some of the people in the back. I know they already shook your hands in many cases, all right, but we'll go ahead and introduce Eddie as well too. All right, and real quick, all right, we'll go ahead and start off with Dana. Dana, why don't you come on up? All right, and Dana actually is a newly promoted district manager, so she just got promoted this past summer, I should say. This past summer, she's a district manager in Hickory, North Carolina. All right, where'd you go to school?
In Virginia.
Virginia, which major?
Science.
All right, majored in science. All right, very, very cool. All right, so I think you guys can see why she rocks at selling Cutco. Science and Cutco, they go together. All right, perfect mix. All right. So, guys, no major does better than another. You guys will notice we have so many different majors on the team. Engineers, people are studying to be doctors, mathematicians, right? So, no major does better than another. It's not a personality-driven program. This is a program-driven program, a product-driven program. So be yourself, right? And you guys will notice that. That's why we also like to have a lot more people introduce themselves, and that's why I like to introduce a lot of people. You guys will notice different personalities, females, males. No one does really better than the other. All right. So, but anyhow, and Dana started out with Cutco when? 2011. So this is going to give me a good opportunity to, know a little bit more about them as well too. So I don't know some of this stuff. Started out in 2011, sold about $35,000 worth of Cutco as a Cutco sales rep. She did that, in a short period of time. By the way, also earned herself an assistant manager opportunity. Where were you an assistant?
Up in the pilot, Fairfax, Virginia.
Fairfax, Virginia, which is one of the top offices in the entire nation, year in and year out. It's a big deal. She transferred into our division this summer, and it's been awesome to have her in the division. Dana is going to be one of the top up-and-coming district managers, no doubt, and that's why she's here training, today. So she'll be watching our seminar. So we want to give her the best, all right? You guys ready for that? All right, so, A game. Dana, any quick tips you can give to the game to help them to have a fast start, as you were not too long ago, your fast start a couple years ago?
Just follow everything Honest tells you. She's one of the best in the company, and just follow everything.
Yes.
Have fun. Very important. Have fun. Smile a lot. Be interactive. That's everything. Follow.
Yeah, what are the two keys, guys? Forget everything we teach you. Just smile and cut stuff up. All right, you'll be in there like swimmer. All right, never fails. All right, so everybody give Dana a great round of applause. All right, come on up, Steph. And Steph, give you guys a little bio on Steph, at least what I know, and then I'll have her tell a little bit more. But Steph was the top branch manager, if I remember correctly, right? Top branch manager from last summer. When you run a branch, that's basically where you run an office as a college student. She was still in school at ECU. All right, so she was still in school at ECU at the time, in between her junior senior year. Is that right? So in between her junior senior year, by the way, graduated with what degree?
Marketing.
Marketing degree. And she was a top branch manager. Where, by the way, do you think that's pretty cool being able to run an office while you're still in college over the course of the summer for a 4-month period? She got a chance to run a satellite office, which is a smaller office, not like our office, a district office, which was year-round, or her office now, which is a year-round office. Smaller office, but she got the chance to run her own training seminars, her own team meetings, and was a #1 branch manager in the entire Carolina division out of, over 10 or 15 of them?
Yeah, 13.
So 13 branch managers, she was #1. All right, so she likes to be on top, all right, and likes to be a top performer. That's why she's here right now, training as well, learning more. All right, Steph graduated this past year and got a promotion to district manager. She's running the district office in Greenville, North Carolina office. And so very, very exciting. So she gets to run the territory that she started out in, I believe, right?
Supposed to be wrong.
Kind of, all right, yeah. All right, and she's also now presented about 42,000 in sales, did you say? All right, so 42,000 in career personal sales, much more in office sales as far as that goes, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars now in office sales that she's contributed, and that's just from this summer. So, any quick tips you can give to the gang to help them have a fast start?
Yeah, just take a lot of notes, get the most out of the training. I only get 2 of the training. So.
Yeah, and I know that we have a few people that are from out of the area, kind of like you. All right, you actually live in Apex, if I remember correctly, right? Which is right outside Raleigh, is that right? All right, so lived in Apex. All right, so what did you do? Because we didn't even have a virtual demo back when you started. Virtual demo is awesome, guys. That's a great opportunity for some of you to take advantage of. How many of you guys have some people, friends, family, that could be some good customers that live outside of driving distance, maybe live in New York or wherever it might be? How many of you guys have people like that? great opportunity to take advantage of that as a virtual demo. It is phenomenal. And like I said, Cam does an amazing job of teaching that. But any quick thoughts of, what did you do, to help get rolling in your area?
Yeah, to get rolling in the Greenville area, what I did is I talked a lot to my professors. They were more than willing to help out when I told them I was working for school. I earned scholarships, it was help paying for school. So I started off with a lot of my professors and got a lot of recommendations that way. But I also picked 2 to 3 weekends a month just to go home and do some of that time too.
So you can make a paid vacation, so to speak, right? While you get the get the laundry done over at the parents' house, right? Everyone's like being a college student, right? Get the laundry done at the parents' house. Get some nice home cooked meals and make some money while you're there. So good stuff. All right, everybody give. And did I already have you give a tip?
Yeah.
All right, what was your tip?
Get the most out of training.
All right, get the most out of training. There we go. All right, everybody give Steph a great round of applause. All right, Eddie, all right, the man, the myth, the legend. Here he is, Eddie Johnson. All right, and Eddie actually runs a Fayetteville office, which is actually where my family lives in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They just had their biggest summer ever, right, in Fayetteville, North Carolina this summer. So very, very exciting. But even though performing at a very, very high level. All right, and actually his office didn't do much less than what we did this summer. Still focused on growth and learning. We have some of the best training productivity. That's one of the reasons why these managers are here. So know that you guys are getting great training. Actually, right now in the entire Eastern region, North Charlotte, our team, and I can't just take all the credit because Cam does a lot of help with that. Like I said, he teaches a virtual demo, so it's really everybody in our office. But we have the number 2 productivity in the entire Eastern region. We're top 5, I believe, in the entire nation for productivity out of training. So know that you guys are going to get trained to be productive as far as that goes. That's what we do. All right, but Eddie had a phenomenal summer, coming off his best summer yet. Started out with the company back when?
2008.
All right, 2008. So he's still learning, still focused on growth. They're going to be taking lots of notes back there, and they'll probably help out here and there with you guys as well too. All right, but started out in 2008. Which office?
Fayetteville office.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Who's up? Oh, branch office. Yeah, back then it was a branch. Now it's a district territory because it's evolved so much there in Fayetteville, and it's growing, enough to the point where they put a year-round office there. All right, started out in the branch office, and got promoted to district manager when?
2011.
2011. So he's been a district manager for a couple years now. Like I said, coming off his best summer ever. Personal sales, what are those at?
65.
So 65,000 in personal sales as far as that goes. By the way, that makes him an SFSM. All right, so that stands for Senior Field Sales Manager. We'll talk more about that as we get to bonus. When you guys get excited enough more about promotions, we'll talk more about that. All right, so any quick tips that you can give to the game to help them and have a fast start?
Yeah, take advantage of the role play, the practice that you're going to have the opportunity to do. Take it really, really seriously.
So there you go. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to role play and practice. Everybody learns at different speeds, all right? But take advantage of that, all right? The more you role play, the better you will do. Guys, should that role play be good when we do it? Should it be good? No. All right? If it sounds good, you're way out of the game, all right? If you're rough and rusty, you're right where you're supposed to be, all right? You're brand new. But 7 or 8 times down the road, is it going to get better? Of course, all right? And that's why we want you to take advantage of it. And if you have time, there's never such a thing as, I am done with role playing. If you get done early, what do? Do it again, all right? So, again. All right, until we stop. So the more you do it, the better you get. All right, so everybody give Eddie a great round of applause. All right. So I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourselves now. All right. No life story or anything like that. We don't need that. All right. Just state your name, your major interest in school. All right. So if you're in school right now, if you're not in school, you can just skip over that section. And the one thing you're going to gain most from working with is here at Cutco Factor, right? So name, major interest in school, and what school do you attend, or what school you're going to be attending. All right, if you're not in school, just skip over that. And the one thing that you're going to gain most from working with is here at Factor Cutco, all right? And we'll go and start right over there.
Cool. My name's Eric, of course. I'm going to Wingate for business when I finish out in private school. And what's the last one?
And what's the one thing you want to gain most from working with is here at Cutco Factor?
Probably success. Probably with skills.
Success and people skills. I like that, all right? As you guys see up there, success is a choice. You're making the right choice by being here. Wingate, by the way, great school. I have one of my good tennis buddies with the tennis court over there. I don't know if you noticed, or I don't know if your friend from the South Florida division recommended you to us, told you, but one of the Wingate tennis players, Lewis, was one of their top 10 All-Americans in Cutco this summer. He saw Cutco down there in Miami office, down in basketball, same division. So, but good. All right, everybody give Eric a great round of applause.
I'm Keisha, and I'm a science major. I'm going to be going to CTCC next semester, not this semester. But I don't actually watch a lot of TV. When I do, I like to watch like documentaries and stuff, and facts and all that stuff, because I'm a science nerd. That's what I like.
Oh, that explains modern marbles. Alright, there we go.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
So, I didn't mean to.
No, it's cool.
Anyhow, you're good. Alright, but it is awesome you've already seen those couple of shows, alright? Have you seen Cool Modern Marbles? Have you seen that bit?
No, I didn't see that one yet.
Alright, well, you're in for a treat, alright? So, I do have to say it's the coolest episode, alright?
Okay.
Anyhow, everybody give Keidron and Bubba, what's one thing you want to keep us working with this year, Cockle Back? Alright, hey, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of the reason we're working is to make some money, or else it wouldn't be called a job, it'd be called a hobby, alright? Trust me, it's not a hobby, alright? Everybody give Keidron a great round of applause.
Okay, my name is Kayla Randolph, and I'm going to next year for real estate.
Cool.
And I would say what I want is a scholarship for school.
So scholarships for school, so we're gonna earn a scholarship, and money, all that good stuff. Alright. And everybody give Kayla a great round of applause. So better communication skills, good. Alright, everybody give Sean a great round of applause. We're gonna talk about why everybody should value the experience that you're getting here and why that's important. I mean, although I do think, hey, money is a great thing, but I think it's even more important is the experience that you take because, well, if that money is spent, the experience will still happen. So, actually, you guys might have already spent that money, those little credit cards you guys have, right? And things like that. So, it's really fun. That experience really is happening.
So I want to say experience.
Yeah.
My name is Paul Ruiz. I went to Denver, Illinois, Chicago.
Okay.
9 years sport management and marketing. Let me experience and learn more grow my career.
Very cool. Alright, so sports management, all that good stuff. Alright, what do you want to do with that major? Do you have any
Sport management?
Yeah. Like be an agent?
Yeah, be an agent. That I need to do like 3 years more.
Very cool, man. You ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire? Jerry Maguire, about the sports agent with Tom Cruise in it? Oh, you gotta see that movie, write that down. You'll love that movie. That was awesome. It's one of my favorites. So, how many of you guys have ever seen that movie? Anyone ever seen that movie, Jerry Maguire? I love that movie, right? He's fired up. Alright, so he's a sports agent in that movie. That was one of his big breaks right there. So, back in the 90s, I believe. Or was that in the 90s? Yeah. So, anyhow, good stuff, alright? But we'll be able to help you out. This is fit hand in hand with that as far as that goes. So, everybody give Paul a great round of applause.
My name is Maria, and I want experience and more people skills.
So experience and more people skills. Sounds good. All right, good. Everybody give Maria a great round of applause.
My name is Shaquan, and my major is criminal justice. I want to gain experience and get my name out there in the community.
So experience and get your name out there in the community. Network a little bit. All right. And can you say the first name? I didn't see the name. Shaquana. All right. So did I say it right there?
Yeah.
All right. By the way, if I mispronounce your name, don't take any offense to it. That's obviously and I'm trying to correct me nicely. And if you mispronounce mine, I realize it's a little different. I don't take any offense to it. So it's all good to know. All right. All right. So Shaquana, is that right? All right. So everybody, give Shaquana a great round of applause.
This week's training. I was just saying if anybody major efficiency stats. Major in business. See, we're being made. How many do you have set for next week? How many do you have set for next week?
I was gonna say developmental skills.
All right, there we go. All right, well, we can roll with that. All right, we can roll with that. All right, good. All right, so looking to improve your skills. Good. All right, and English time. Jeanette. All right, Jeanette with a Z.
Yes.
All right, I like that. All right, everybody, Jeanette, great round of applause.
My name is Amon. I'm going to school for culinary. And what I want to gain from here is communication skills.
Communication skills and people skills. All right, and it's mine, right?
Yes.
Going to school for culinary arts, huh? You will have the coolest knives in your class, that is for sure. All right, good stuff. And which school are you going to for culinary arts?
The Art Institute.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody give them a great round of applause. All right, and did you take care of that guy in the front, Cam?
I did.
All right, thank you, sir, man. That was my fault.
You're all good.
All right, but Anyhow, that was good. Nobody died. All right, and we will continue to work on those communication skills, and you guys get more comfortable as training progresses. All right. Now, one of the things that you'll notice, and I mentioned this earlier, is that there's no one type of person or personality that does better than another. You know, guys, we have all different types of personalities here in the training group. You probably noticed that just through the introductions of some of our staff, you know, that are here, and some of the other managers, you know, they're here that have excelled with the company. Whether or not somebody's really outgoing or introverted doesn't really matter. You know, some of you guys that interviewed with Mr. White probably noticed that, by the way, too. You know, Alex, he's a pretty introverted guy, engineering major, pretty low-key guy. All right, but he was one of our best sales reps, you know, in the office. He was number 2 right behind Brandon. It was a tight race that entire summer. You know, sold right at $30,000 with the Cutco over the course of the summer. All right, so it does not really matter whether somebody's really introverted or extroverted. It's a product, and this might be worth writing down too. One of the reasons for that is this is a product-driven program and a program-driven program. It's a product-driven program and a program-driven program. Meaning the products and the programs rock, so be yourself. You're going to be most confident with who you are. Now, let's keep going. Other people just like you guys are in training right now all across the country. Would be the best training class in the nation. How's that sound? All right, you guys ready for that? All right, good. Not a lot of things to take notes on today, but a few things that we do want you to get down. These are some things that we expect from you guys, some keys to getting the most from training and the position. Number 1, positive attitude. The most important part of being successful is your attitude. Does anyone in here know somebody who complains all the time? They have that mental odor, right? You can already smell their negativity as soon as they start walking up towards you. Makes you want to act like you didn't see them start walking the other way, right? But they always chase you down and vent because they have nobody else to talk to, right? You know, we all have standards in life, but in our office, the only thing that's acceptable, what's non-negotiable, is a positive atmosphere, all right? So, you don't want to be one of those people that comes into work and complains. Leave your problems at the door, you take them up when you leave. All right, second thing, feel confident. 2 things. The first thing I want you to feel confident in is the program. The work in the training program you will go through in its current state is essentially the same program we've been using for the past 30 plus years. Why do you think we still use the same program, gang? Yeah, very good, Keidra. Because it works. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. All right, it works. We're not going to throw you out there like fish out of water. Do exactly what we teach you, and you will do well with us. The only reason somebody has not done well is because they don't follow the program. They try to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Right? This is the same program I went through when I was a student. If I can do it, you can do it too. Right? As I said, some of you may feel nervous. I am not. It's a piece of cake. This is a very simple program. If you apply what we teach you, you will do well with us. The second thing I want you to take confidence in is the product. Take confidence in the product. The people that do the best are the ones who believe the most in the product and that the customer is going to benefit from buying it. Just out of curiosity, you know, how many in here, does anyone in here know somebody, I know it's not a common thing you guys go around asking people about, like, hey, what kind of knives you got? I'll lay mine down now that you got the knife job, right? You know, I know it's not on the top of young adults list of things to talk about, kitchen cutlery, but other than a mod, maybe, you know, culinary arts, right? But anybody in here out of curiosity knows somebody who owns Cutco? All right, or have any family and friends that own Cutco? Just out of curiosity, show hands, who do you know owns Cutco? You own Cutco, cool. All right, and did you buy or your family buy it?
I bought it.
But when did you buy it? Yeah, when? All right, so a few years ago. And what do you think about it?
Still works.
Yeah.
It broke one time with someone, I think, just.
There you go.
Some shit like that.
Some stuff like that. All right, that was good. All right, some stuff. All right, but anyhow, exactly. If it ever breaks, what do we do? Yeah, we fix it. All right, you know, we give them a brand new one. All right, that's the guarantee. It's phenomenal, and it still works, and it'll work forever. 2005. What is that? My math's not the greatest, but that's 8 years, right? So yeah, almost 10 years now. All right, guys, the product is the best, guys. When you run into people that own Cutco, it's like a broken record. You're gonna hear a couple things every time. Love it, use it every day. 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 All right, literally, that is what you will hear. Guys, that's one of the things that I love about selling Cutco. That's one of the reasons why I've been here for so long. It's because we have a phenomenal product. You never have to hide behind your product. Love the fact that you represent something that's quality and it's also backed forever. All right? So anyhow, fact is we sold right at $250 million for Cutco last year. Give you guys an idea, that's about $700,000 in Cutco sales a day. That's $29,000 in Cutco sales an hour. That's $1,200 in Cutco sales a minute. That's about $7 to $8 a second worth of Cutco that we are selling. All right? And that's been done with the same training, same blue book, same training manual that we'll get to you guys. All right? Now, the third thing I want you to take from this, all right? Oh, by the way, Kim, you just make sure you have training manuals ready to go. Just wanna make sure you have this. Thank you, dude. All right, so third thing, help others out. Some of you are interested in advancement. The further you advance, the more prevalent helping others out is. All our assistant managers do is help others out. One of the other things that I might have forgot to mention with a few of them, one of the reasons why they're assistants is they all love to help others out. They get a very gratifying feeling, of helping somebody else in success. We're going to do something called role playing. Eddie mentioned this a minute ago. It's where we practice presentation with each other. Some people pick it up faster than others do. I remember being in training, by the way, 13 years ago, and I felt like I was the world's worst role player. And I felt like I remember my partner, Matt McGirt, he was like this cool surfer boy, a little older than me, had sales experience, was like Mr. Cool in high school, he actually went to the same high school as me. He would fly through the sections, like he'd already went through the training before. And me, I was stumbling over every other word because I was so nervous, it probably seemed like I was illiterate. On that first day. But one of the things that I appreciated was that Matt didn't sit there and pick at me and tell me every little thing I was doing wrong. He gave me good constructive criticism in a positive fashion. Alright, I appreciated that. The reason why I bring this up, gang, alright, is we want to create a supportive environment. It's the only environment that's acceptable, it's non-negotiable. Everybody here is in the same shoes and you're a little bit nervous, but I promise you, those 3 days of training, by the end of that last day, you'll be burning rubber out of the parking lot, Sean, saying, man, I cannot wait to get to my first appointment. That's how lit you will be. Alright, Alright, good. Alright, so be responsible. That's the fourth thing. Be responsible. We do expect everyone to be responsible and reliable. To do what you say that you're going to do. I'm a sports guy. I'm going to use a lot of sports analogies. Training is a lot like sports or playing an instrument. The harder you work in practice, the easier the performance and the easier the game is, right? How many guys in here played a sport or played an instrument before? Just out of curiosity. Alright, and very good. Alright, so a lot of you guys can probably relate to that. Good. Alright? How many of you have ever read that saying, practice makes perfect? And I don't believe in perfection, by the way. Alright? Even though I like that saying, practice makes perfect. Alright, I like the concept. I don't believe in perfection. I don't ever want you to get subscribed for being perfect. Nobody's perfect. I've already made mistakes in this training seminar. You guys just don't know exactly. Alright? So I don't believe in perfection. I believe in striving for excellence. Because if you strive for perfection, if you want to be perfect and focus on perfection, you'll drive yourself crazy. Alright? Nobody's perfect. Alright? But strive for excellence. And I do like the concept of practice makes perfect. Every time you really practice, better you're going to get it. Alright, so good. Be on time, that's what that means too. With being responsible. Be on time. Vector time is 10 to 15 minutes early in the office. If you're in the office, you're working. Learning parts of the presentation, setting up appointments, etc. Guys, we don't ask for 100% of your time. We realize that many of you are in school. Alright, that is one of the most important things. That's the reason why you're in school, is to get good grades and to succeed at a high level. And Cutco will help you, and that's one of my goals and missions, to make sure that Cutco helps you in succeeding with those things at an even higher level than you would have maybe previously. I'm a firm believer in that saying the way you do one thing is the way you do, everything. The way you do another, right? Alright, so I know that Cutco for sure helped me out with school and definitely improved my results in school as far as that goes. Definitely made me procrastinate less, lots of good things came. Alright, but we don't ask for 100% of your time. Alright, all we ask is that you give 100% of your effort when you're doing the job. When you're here in training, alright, if you're working with the customer, you give it 100%, alright? Also, when we give you assignments, right? Part of being responsible is to, number one, do the assignments that we give you. Guys, do them at the best level that you can. Why is that? Well, who do you think those assignments are more important for? You guys or for me? Yeah, they're for you. They're for your success, right? And I think that everyone is being responsible and reliable are qualities to be successful at anything, but to know them and to do them are much different things. It's an application of knowledge that makes somebody successful. In the real world, by the way, right, it's not that there aren't positions out there, it's that companies have a hard time finding the right people for the job. Alright? There's a big difference between earning a check and collecting a check. One's a lot more rewarding, like a report card. Alright? Now, as I mentioned earlier, I started the company about 13 years ago, in the summer of 2000. And I remember wanting the perfect student job. I wanted a job that was fun, paid well, and gave me good experience. And I'll never forget, finding some jobs that were fun, but didn't pay as well, like the mall jobs, right? You know, minimum wage types of jobs, but you know, maybe more fun working with some friends. All right, then I remember finding jobs that paid a little bit more, but weren't really cut out for me, or I wasn't qualified for, like waitering, right? You know, you always need experience, you know, and it's like, how can you get experience with no experience, right? It's one of those things, right? So I had trouble getting that type of position. You know, I'll never forget, you know, also, you know, some of the other better paying jobs in the area that I grew up in, Daytona Beach, was like lifeguarding, and I was never the best at swimming, all right? So that wasn't really cut out from construction, if you guys can't tell. All right, that definitely wasn't cut out for me, all right? You know, so that wasn't really going to work, right? Don't you dare. All right, so that wasn't really cut out for me. So I'll never forget, a couple weeks went by, and I wasn't really able to find anything. And I got this letter in the mail. And I'll never forget getting this letter in the mail. And back then, as an 18-year-old, I was just excited about getting mail. All right, some of you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You know, but you know, as you get older, you realize mail's not that exciting anymore, right? But when you're younger, yeah, Eric, you might be with me, right? All right, so when you're younger, 18, it's like, oh man, who's this Vector guy? Vector. I didn't know Vector was Vector back then. So I remember ripping this piece of mail open from Vector, and I'll never forget looking at it, and it was a job advertisement. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. Oh man, I'm looking for a job. And I remember looking through, the thing that really caught my attention was a $10.25 per appointment. And of course, for you guys, it's what now? $13.50. It's $13.50. $10.25 was what it was back then. You know, for me starting out. You know, so I remember seeing that and thinking, man, that's like double what I'm making over my tennis club job. And currently, at that time, I was working at the tennis club, making minimum wage. And I have to admit, I did enjoy that job. It was a fun job. I don't have a bunch of war stories like you might hear from some of your friends working at like the fast food joints, things like that. I didn't like the job because I love tennis. That's what I've grown up playing tennis. But the thing I didn't like about the tennis club was the pay. And so that was why I was looking for new jobs. I needed something that was going to pay a little bit better. I remember I was making minimum wage at the tennis club, and after 3 years of working there, the only reason I got a pay raise is because minimum wage went up. So I wasn't that excited. So I didn't really, you know, I remember being really excited one day because I saw my pay finally go up after like 3 years of working there, like by like 20 cents. I was like, oh, I finally figured it out. And I found out later on that minimum wage went up. So I wasn't that excited. But I funded for my own education, and I was getting ready to transfer colleges to Florida State University, and so going away to school. And of course, as many of you guys know, the most expensive part of being a college student, especially if you have scholarships and stuff like that, tuition doesn't even cost near as much as the lifestyle of a college student, paying for the apartment complex, all that good stuff. So that was really where I needed to find a new job that was going to pay me a little bit more. So I remember seeing the $10.25 that really caught my attention. It was like, oh man, that's like double what I'm making, over at the tennis club. But then I remember I kept on reading through, and I saw it was sales and service, and my dad was anti-sales back then. So I didn't really pay too much, more attention to the letter. I remember like tossing it in a recycling bin, whatnot. I just never thought sales was for me. Well, I'll never forget the very next day, I saw a new advertisement in a local newspaper, and this was before internet was really huge. Now, of course, Craigslist and all these different career builder, but we didn't have all that back then. So most kids found jobs in the newspaper. And so I remember, I've been looking through the newspaper week in, week out. Finally, I see this new advertisement pop up in the newspaper. The day after I got that letter, mirrored the ad. I remember the $10.25 is what caught my attention. And I remember thinking, man, how odd, what a coincidence, I wondered if this was the same company. And so, I remember, pulling out that, that letter out of the recycling bin and matching up the phone number. Sure enough, it was the same company. So I thought, all right, this must be a sign. Let me at least call and check it out. So I remember calling and talking to somebody like Kelly, on the phone. She scheduled me for an interview, for later on that evening. I'll never forget going, to my dad's closet, because I had like no nice clothes back then. I had like borrowed one of my dad's shirts. It was like 3 sizes too big for me. I must look like I lost a bunch of weight or something, right? Getting into this interview, I had this tie, probably tied backwards back then. So anyhow, I'm all sweaty. I had no AC in my car back then even. I'm all sweaty. This is summer in Florida. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's pretty hot in Florida. So summer in Florida, I'm all sweaty getting into this interview, and I see like 5 or 6 other people in the room, and I start freaking out. I'm thinking, oh man, competition, that's all I need. And some of these people look a lot older than me, a lot more experience, resumes. I barely even had a spell over resume back then. So I had no resume. So anyhow, I remember Mr. Cousins, who was the manager at the time, he was meeting with some people, and some people got a chance to stay. All right, I was like the last one we met with, and I think I might have been a little bit late, I had trouble finding the office or something. But anyhow, I remember Mr. Cousins had some people stay. They went into his office, and they had these big smiles on their faces coming back into the room. And then some people went in and met with Mr. Cousins. It was like the black hole, right? It was like they went in to meet with Mr. Cousins, they never came back, right? It was like they sent them away, and I was like, whoa, what is going on, right? I was starting to freak out, right? I was like, oh man, I don't want to be like one of them, right? So I remember meeting with Mr. Cousins, and what happens when emotions go up? Where does intelligence go? Down, right? And I remember I had all these, planned from all the interviews I had been on. I figured I was a professional interviewer. I had all these planned out answers about questions he could ask me and about experience and all kinds of stuff, and that all went out the window, right? So I remember fumbling out answers and regretting them as I was saying them, as they were coming out of my mouth. Like, oh man, I can't believe I just said that. Well, for whatever reason, Mr. Cousins decided to keep me for the second more formal interview, so I was pumped about that. I had no clue what Cutco was, no clue what Vector was. I was just excited about being accepted for something that was going to pay a little bit more than minimum wage, right? And so anyhow, I remember getting into this interview, and I'll never forget there were 3 or 4 other people, something like that, 3 other people, that were in the interview, and he gets to the products. And you guys remember that section of the interviews? Of course, I'm sure you guys do. And I'll never forget, having this anticipation, thinking, okay, what are these Cutco products, right? And I'll never forget, he pulled out a pair of scissors, right? So Mr. Cousins pulled out a pair of scissors. At first, and I thought, all right, scissors, that's what we're going to be selling. All right, $10.25, I guess. Right? So hey, maybe $10.25 for it, I'll do it. All right, so anyhow, but, really thinking, all right, scissors, really, that's what we're going to sell. And then I'll never forget, he took a penny, and he dismantled Abe Lincoln's head off of that penny. I was like, all right, I can see why they call those super shears. All right, I can sell some of those things. I'll never forget. After he cut that penny, my eyes lit up, like my mouth, my jaw dropped. I was like, all right, I can sell some of this stuff. I was totally jacked about the product after that. I can see, what they meant by high quality. So I'll never forget that. We'll teach you guys how to cut pennies and all that good stuff in training. That'll be a lot of fun. So but anyhow, I remember getting to the rope demo. You guys remember when, they cut the rope in the interview, right? And I'll never forget, he asked me to cut through the rope, and I started freaking out and stuff because my idea of cooking back then was stirring up 50 packets of ramen noodles. And I had no idea how to use kitchen knives or anything like that. I was afraid I was going to cut the guy. And that would totally ruin my interview, right? So I'm all nervous and fidgety. He's holding onto this rope, and he gives me these common knives, and I'm like breaking a sweat on the rope. And I'm thinking it's because I'm really weak, and I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna get this job. I'm thinking it's because I was really weak, and I'm like getting to triple digits here on the rope, and I finally get through the rope, right? Then we get to the Cutco knife. Zoom, half a stroke, I'll never forget that. I remember looking around at everybody in the interview, with a big smile on my face. It wasn't me, it was the knife, right? See, Cutco makes you feel stronger. So, anyhow, at least maybe it's stronger. So I remember being pretty pumped about that after cutting through the rope. Well, to make a long story short, I remember getting through the rest of the interview, being really impressed with the pay. I definitely liked I have to admit, I might not have taken the job if it hadn't been for the base rate of the $10.25, and of course for you guys now what? $13.50, right? I might not have taken the job if it hadn't been for that base rate, but when I saw the pay and I saw the opportunity for incentives, me growing up playing sports, even though I might not look like that much of an athlete, I did play pretty competitive tennis and ran. One of the things that I liked about sports, which was very similar to Cutco, is that you got rewarded for doing better, right? I hated that at my tennis club job. That no matter how good I was at making the coffee, no matter how I was the best at making the coffee too. Those tennis club members love my coffee. All right, so I'm sure they were missing me after I left. But no matter how good I was at sweeping the courts, we had a clay court facility. I never got rewarded with any more. I got paid the same amount. No matter how efficient I was, even if I did things 2-3 times as fast, as the next tennis club attendant, I didn't get rewarded for it. So one of the things that I liked about Cutco is when I saw that pay, I liked the opportunity where, hey, if I get better at the job, if I get better results, I get paid more. I thought that was pretty cool. So that definitely excited me. I like the opportunity for scholarships. Some of you mentioned that. Scholarship opportunity, all that good stuff. I was just hoping I get the position. I remember being the last one taken, for the interview, for that post-interview to, get the final decision. Some of you guys might have been the last one as well too. But anyhow, I remember sweating bullets. And of course, emotions go up, intelligence goes down. I remember fumbling out a couple other answers when he asked me a couple of his final questions. And I remember thinking that he wasn't going to offer me the position. He started off by telling me some of the things that I could work on. Hey, it looked like you were pretty nervous in the interview, and so, but then he turned the corner. He said, well, hey, you definitely seem like somebody, who's very excited about the opportunity, and I can tell from your answers, and obviously you love the product. How can you not? It's Cutco. I'll never forget at the very end, he said, hey, I feel like with the proper training, you seem like somebody who's very coachable. By the way, that's one of the things that we definitely look for. One of the reasons why you guys probably were selected is because you seem like somebody who would be coachable. All right, but that's one of the, it's one of the only things, if you ask me, that's necessary. If you're coachable, I don't care what kind of personality you have, I don't care what you've done in the past, this is a chance for you to start with a clean slate, be as great as you want to be. All right, but anyhow, you mentioned that, hey, you seem like somebody, who's very coachable. I like the fact that you played sports and whatnot. I think you'd be a great team player, and so I'd like to go ahead and congratulate you and welcome you to the team. And I'll never forget that moment when he said something of the sort, that I'll never forget thinking I was like in a dream. Only if he had known how long I'd been in this job search, right? I want to like jump over that desk and give him a big bear hug. And I didn't think he'd think I was too professional. You know, so I remember wipe my hands off my pants, give him a nice handshake, and I'll never forget, as soon as I got out of the Vector office and out of his sight though, I raced down those stairs. I remember whipping my old Nissan Stanza car door open, rolling down the windows, no AC, right? You know, I don't know if you guys still do this as young adults, but I even kind of still do this to this day. You know, blasting my tunes, right? And you're really excited about something, you blast, and I think I blew out a couple speakers. It was okay, because I had a job and I could buy new ones, right? You know, and so I'll never forget getting home to share the excitement with my friends and family, and you know, my family most importantly. I'll never forget getting home to share the excitement with my family. And so anyhow, I get into the house, and you know, after racing home, or it was more like a putt, transmission problems back then. You know, I remember finally getting home to share this excitement with my family. And my dad, my stepmom, my two stepsisters, my little brother all sitting down at the dinner table. And I get in, and at the top of my lungs, I got my job description in one hand, my congratulations letter in the other. Guys, guess what? I got the job, right? And my dad, said, oh, that's great. Well, what did you get? And I remember at that moment when he said that, oh, what did you get? What are you going to be doing? I remember thinking in my head, how should I present this to my dad, right? I didn't know how my dad would take the knife selling thing, right? He was already anti-sales and selling knives, right? You know, and so I remember I first kind of skating around the issue. Well, Dad, I work at this really great marketing company. Yeah, like nationwide. What do you mean? What do you do with this marketing company? Like running errands? You go for it, you make coffee, and you're really good at that? Right? I said, no, Dad. I'm not making any more coffee. Dad, I work directly with the customers. He said, what do you mean? What do you do with these customers? Oh, Dad, I do all kinds of things. And I help them reorder things, I demonstrate things, and finally he kind of figured it out. He said, all right, son, I get it. What are you going to be selling? And of course, the first things that came to my mind were those awesome scissors and knives, right? I said, Dad, I'm going to be selling Cutco knives and scissors. You know, and my dad looked at me really funny, and he looked down at like at the dinner table, like knives, like these kind of knives, like that we're about to eat with. And I said, no, Dad, these things, they actually work. Dad, I got this pair of scissors, they cut through pennies. And I remember being so jazzed, trying to do like a reenactment for my dad, we kind of demos. My dad really didn't get it. And by the end of that dinner, my dad, finally, my dad said something we still joke about to this day. He said, son, don't you get it? And I said, get what? And he said, well, Indians don't sell things, definitely not knives and scissors. You know, I remember he said, why don't you do a good job working with me over at the computer lab? That's what he said. My dad was a computer teacher at that time. And so, anyhow, I directed computers over at that local college. So, anyhow, I said, why don't you get a good job with me working over at the computer lab? I can get you a good job. That's where all the money's going to be at, technology, all that good stuff. And so, anyhow, I'll never forget. My dad did not really think this was going to be the best opportunity for me, but that kind of challenged me, to work a little bit harder at it. And I remember thinking, man, this Indian's going to sell something, right? And so my dad said that to me. I remember we went through our entire family tree, any job that anybody in our family had ever done. This is what Grandpa did. Here's what I did growing up. So he'd always wanted me to work with him. So I said to my dad, Dad, give me 2 weeks, and if I stink at it, then I'll go find a job that you want me to get, because I know those jobs still be available. They still be available, because like nobody wants them. I bet that job is still available if my dad didn't want it. I'm not worried about this, right? So anyhow, my dad said, all right, it's going to be a learning experience for you. That's what he said. How many of us work for that? Right? A learning experience. And so anyhow, that challenged me to work a little bit harder, and give even more effort, I have to say, in the training seminar, just because I wanted to prove my dad wrong. And not only prove him wrong, I wanted to prove myself right, and so I remember having a lot of fun going to training, cutting up lots of stuff, a lot of fun cutting clinics tomorrow, that'll be exciting. And so anyhow, learning everything I needed to know to be successful, in that seminar, built a lot of confidence. I had a complete, 360 with comfort and confidence by the end of that training, but I have to admit, I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you this, and I was still pretty nervous to go out and do my first appointments out of the gate. I'll never forget, I had my very first appointment right after training ended on Saturday, just like you guys will. My training ended on Saturday at the same exact time that you guys did. As I said, not too many things have changed over the course of time. Same training, that I got, same pretty much you guys should get. All right, but training ended at 4. I remember I had my very first appointment at 5 p.m. on Saturday right after training. We're gonna have you guys make money with those time. All right, so I'll never forget that appointment was with Mr. and Mrs. Tickemeyer. I really wanted to see my dad out of the gate because my dad's the ultimate skeptic, but he loves to cook. My dad loves to cook. He actually owned an Indian restaurant in Fayetteville, North Carolina for a little while. The only Indian restaurant in Fayetteville, actually. It's owned by some of our family friends now. They just sold it not too long ago. But so my dad loves to cook. But he's the ultimate skeptic, and so he didn't like, I remember him saying, oh, they're probably using trick pennies in the interview. And so I was like, oh man, I really don't want to show my dad. But my dad went out of town for some computer convention or something, so I wasn't able to see him out of the gate. So the majority of my appointments my first week, and actually pretty much for the most part all of them, were either my dad's coworkers, my dad's teacher friends. I saw a lot of them. I saw a lot of my friends' parents. My very first appointment was with one of my friends' parents from high school, Mr. and Mrs. Tinkmeyer. I'll never forget when I called them up over the phone. We'll teach you how to do all this, and we'll even have some time tomorrow in training to make your first few phone calls and book up your first appointment, so don't worry about that just yet. We'll teach you how to do all that stuff. But I remember when I booked up the appointment with Mr. and Mrs. Tinkmeyer on Friday from the office, and I remember calling them up and setting up the appointment, and they said, oh honey, you come over, we'd love to help you with the training, especially after you get paid to show, we'd love to help you. We're probably not going to buy anything. Yeah, we just have one of those little pampered chef parties, and we bought like everything from them. How many of you guys have ever heard of pampered chef before? Anybody in here? So anyhow, they had little parties and whatnot. Just to give you guys an idea, Pampered Chef make really great gadgets and not great knives. I didn't know that at the time, so at the time I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, what is this Pampered Chef stuff? I hope it's not as good as Cutco. Have no fear, Cutco's here, right? We never put you in a losing situation. Cutco's going to smack all the other competition around. That's what we do in the demo. To give you guys an idea, Doris Christopher, the owner of Pampered Chef, guess what she owns in her home? You'd like to think Pampered Chef, but yeah, no. Alright, just like, probably like the owners of Daewoo, those little cars that run around, the president's Daewoo or Kia or whoever, no offense if you have Kia, but they're probably not driving Kias. What do you think they're driving? Ferraris. Alright, yeah, Benz. Alright, love the fact that, guys, we represent Cutco. It is the best. Alright, so yeah, the owner of Pampered Chef, Doris Christopher, owns a full set of Cutco cutlery. Alright, so which is pretty cool. We have it on our customer listing. Alright, so guys, and know that our company presidents wouldn't have anything other than Cutco. Alright? You can know that. Not because they have to, but because it's the best, right? So anyhow, but I remember at that time not having any clue about Pampered Chef, so like many of you that didn't raise your hands, I didn't know Pampered Chef from any other brand that was out there. So I was wondering, oh man, I hope this stuff's not that good. Well, she said, oh honey, you come over, we're probably not gonna buy anything, we just have one of those little Pampered Chef parties. And so I said, all right, cool, hey, I need the training anyways. And so I remember setting up the appointment, and just to prove to me, that she wasn't gonna buy anything, I remember getting to her house. This was my very first appointment, right after training ended. I remember getting to her house, and imagine this is her kitchen table here. We walk into her kitchen and spread out in picture-perfect fashion. She has every piece of Pampered Chef spread out. It must have taken her an hour to set up that display. Before I got, just to prove to me that she wasn't going to buy anything. I remember we get into the kitchen, she said, see, honey, I wish you'd come like a month sooner. We would have bought like everything from you. But yeah, we just have one of those little parties, and we got like everything from them. And I said, all right, cool. Hey, no problem. We can use some of these knives that you got from Pampered Chef. And she had these little Ever-Sharp knives. I think they're called like Pampered Chef Ever-Sharp. How many of you guys have ever seen those knives that like supposedly, like when you put them in the case and you pull them out, it sharpens them, right? So you never need to sharpen them. You guys know what I'm talking about? Something like that. Well, anyhow. So she had these little Pampered Chef Ever-Sharp or never need sharpening knives that supposedly sharpen themselves when you put them and pull them out. So at that moment, I was kind of worried. I was like, oh man, I wonder how these are going to compare against Cutco. But like I said, guys, that's what we do the cutting demos. Happen if your Cutco is here, all right? So, well, I cannot take the credit for what happened on that appointment because I'd be lying to you guys if I did. All right, I'd like to tell you that what happened on that appointment was because I was really good. But in that first demo, I remember feeling like Mrs. Tinkmeyer should have paid for half the demo because she did half the work. All right, I remember having to flip my training manual over to have her help me pronounce some of the difficult words that were in there. I'm like, luckily she was a school teacher, so it was cool. Love school teachers, right? They're awesome. But well, this is really what saved the day, though. We got to the cutting demos, and I'll never forget getting to that cutting demo. And like I said before, you forget everything we teach you. I mean, I'm kind of joking about this, but I'm kind of not. All right? If you forget everything we teach you, just remember this. Cut stuff up and smile, and people will buy lots of Cutco from you, because I did everything wrong in that first demo. All right? I think I looked at the customer 3 whole times just to make sure they were still there. All right? I remember just straight reading off my manual in that demo. I was so nervous. But I remember we got to the cutting demos, and she pulled out her little Pampered Chef Ever-Sharp knife. And I'll never forget at first being a little worried. Of course, who does the cutting demos? The customer, right? We hold on to the rope, we'll teach you how to do all that stuff and proper safety and whatnot. But anyhow, so she starts going to town with these Pampered Chef knives, and it gets to about 20, 30 strokes, right? And she starts to blame it on the sharpening, and she's like, oh, I don't think this thing's working. So she kept on sticking it back in that sharpening device, shoving it back in, pulling it back out, trying to sharpen it better. I don't think it was so much the sharpening device wasn't working. I think it was just the knives weren't really that good. But anyhow, the customer's always right, so it's like, yeah, do it again, stick by her, right? And so finally she gets through the rope, right? And then she takes the Cutco knife out. Whoosh, half a stroke. I'll never forget, she thought I was using trick rope. at first. After it happened so quickly, she's like, wait a minute, that was a different piece of rope. I remember she like pulled out 3 or 4 more pieces of my rope just to make sure it all cut the same. I remember I was like at the end of it, I was like, chill, Miss Tigmar, I need that for my other demo. Right? But don't worry, we give you a lifetime supply of rope and leather, so it's all good. Alright, but finally, after she cut through a few pieces of rope and whatnot, after she did some of the other cutting demos, by the end of the demo, she went from saying she wasn't going to buy anything to, now she didn't buy a big set or anything like that. I didn't sell, like a homemaker, a signature, an ultimate on my first demo, like some of these other guys that you guys will meet in the office, like Brandon sold a signature on his first demo. I didn't have anything like that happen. I sold 2 knives. I sold a paring knife and a trim. That was that. But isn't it cool? Customers can customize whatever they want, right? By the way, they can do whatever they like. But she got a paring knife and a trimmer just to start off with. But guess what happened over the course of time? She ended up upgrading into a set. We have a lot of customers that do that, by the way. 70% of our customers come back to buy again. Who do you want to buy from? You or the next person that comes around the block? Yeah, you do. So I'm going to teach you guys some cool tips and training to help with repeat business. Out of 260,000 that I've sold, over 50 grand I've had just over the phone with repeat customers, repeat business. Miss Tigmar being one of those. I remember the holiday season, which guys, I love the fact that you're starting to sell Cutco during the fall. All right, we've got so many exciting things coming up. You got Thanksgiving. You got people are already starting to do holiday shopping. All right now, early holiday shopping and knocking it out, so they don't have to worry about what better gift to get than Cutco to get keeps on giving. All right. Anyhow, so we'll talk more about that stuff later. So she ended up upgrading into a set later on over the holidays and loves her Cutco now. Ended up giving me like 12 recommendations on that demo. A lot of her teacher friends. By the way, teachers are awesome. I think that Steph mentioned teachers. They love to help. Heck, that's what they get paid to do, right? You mentioned scholarship. Those are the easiest people to get funding for too. All right, and they love Cutco typically because they're typically people with families and whatnot. But anyhow, so like I was saying, ended up selling a couple knives. To make a long story short, that first weekend, I remember going out and doing 8 appointments my first weekend. I made 7 sales my first weekend. My sales percentage was pretty good, a little bit above the company average. My average order was a little bit low though. A lot like Cam, I didn't start off as the most amazing rep. A lot of times, trainees think, oh man, I bet on he was the most amazing out of the gate, that's how he's a district manager. I actually wasn't. I was actually in the middle of the pack. There was a lot of people in my training class that smoked me in my first 10 days and then in my first weekend. All right, it did way better than me. I'm going to talk a little bit about Summer Osterman tomorrow and a couple of my stories. She was the top trainee out of the training class. But she did like 4 times what I did in my first weekend. I remember my first weekend, I did 8 appointments, I made 7 sales, and I ended up selling right at about $800 worth of Cutco. I was just shy of my first promotion, so I wasn't the best. I wasn't the worst. I was kind of in the middle of the pack, during my training class. But I was at rep that as I went to the extra trainings, as I got to the advanced trainings, I went field training. Do you think that might help you guys out, being able to actually go watch one of our top reps in the office go work with a customer? Somebody like Jen or one of these other people work with a customer and see how they do things firsthand. We have a saying in our office, friends don't let friends do demos alone. It saves lives, right? So we love field training, right? We call that field training in the office. You get a chance to go out and watch a top rep, whether it's Cam or whatever other people in the office, Faith. All right, but anyhow, so I remember going field training. And that really helped me out a ton. Continuing to progress and getting to all the team meetings. And guys, you're gonna have continued growth and continued learning. Guys, what's cool about Cutco? It's cool to learn in Cutco. It's not cool to learn in some places. At some jobs you can learn a ton and you're not ever gonna get rewarded for it, right? How many of you have ever felt like that? Right? Like you're learning all this stuff and you're getting better at your job, you're not getting rewarded for it. All right, what's cool with Cutco, guys, is that the more you learn, the more you earn. All right, remember that. Good. You should say. All right, but the more you learn, the more you earn. All right, don't forget that. All right, so I remember continuing to learn more and growing. And by the end of that summer, even though I wasn't the most amazing out of the gate, by the end of the summer, I was the #1 representative in that Daytona Beach office. I hit my FSM promotion that summer. I ended up earning right at $10,000 in income selling Cutco over the summer. Which to some of you, that might seem like a lot. Some of you might not seem like that much, but just to throw this out there, how much does the average college student make over the course of a year? Does anyone know what the average college student makes over the course of a year right now? Any guesses? Anyone want to take a guess? $4,000 to $6,000 a year. All right, that's how much the average college student's make over the course of a year, which is about on average about $100 a week. If you think about it, 52 weeks in a year, right? All right, so about $100 a week. And due to inflexible schedules, switching jobs so often, being unemployed from month to month, part-time hours, minimum wage positions for the most part, that's what it ends up being. All right, so 10 grand, that was enough for me to be able to pay for my first whole entire semester's worth of rent, which was really exciting. I didn't have to take out any student loans in college, and I had Cutco really to thank for that. And that's why I love what I do now, because I remember the opportunity it gave me, and I also love the coach and lead, and that's what brings me here to your district manager today. So, and there was a lot of other steps in between there, but I gave you an idea. Oh, I almost forgot about doing the demo for my dad. How could I forget that? I'll never, I remember, like I said, that summer, great summer that summer, I ended up advancing into management, all that good stuff, but I do have to tell you a little bit about my demo for my dad. My dad being the ultimate skeptic, he finally got home from out of town, and it was the second weekend of me being on the job. By the way, you want to write this down here, your first 10 days is your fast start. You call your first 10 days your fast start contest. Did your friend tell you a little bit about this, Eric? No? All right, well, I'm going to tell you about it now. Guys, your first 10 days, you have an opportunity to win all kinds of free Cutco products. Almost everything that Cutco has, or a lot, well, I would say everything Cutco has, but a lot of what Cutco has, you have an opportunity to win over $1,500 worth of product. All kinds of stuff. And by the way, that's really neat for a few different reasons. All right, one of the reasons why it's neat is that the Cutco that you win in your fast start contest, you get to keep for ever. Very good. All right, never. All right, you keep it forever. Now, the sample set that we loaned to you guys out of the gate, it's about $400, just shy of $400 worth of product. What do you do with that, when you get finished with it? Yeah, you give it back. We loan it to you, which means that you return it when you're done, with your opportunity with Cutco. All right, unless you like to purchase it down the road, which you can do if you want to. All right, that's up to you down the road, but you return that, when you're done with the opportunity. But all the fast start product you went out of the gate in your first 10 days, you can keep that forever. That's yours to keep, on top of all the income that you earned and all that good stuff. But the other reason why it's cool is that the more Cutco that you have to show, and you'll notice this whenever you go out and watch some of these top reps, work with the customer on field training, they have lots of stuff to show. The more that you have to show, the more that you will, the more that you will sell. Right? Makes sense. Pretty easy. All right. So anyhow. But I remember I wanted to have a really big fast start, so I was, or at least as big as I could. It wasn't as big as I wanted to be, but I sold right at about $5,000 in my first 10 days on the job. Bless you.
Thank you.
And I remember it was my last weekend on the job, and I was getting ready for my last, it was that last Sunday of the fast start. Your fast start ends on Monday actually, but it was the Sunday of the fast start, my second weekend, my first 10 days. And I'll never forget, I was cleaning up my knives, getting ready for that Sunday's day of sales. I had 5 or 6 demos on that Sunday. It was Saturday night. Late at night, I was cleaning off my knives. By the way, you never want to go into a demo with a dirty knife, right? It's just bad, bad representation of Cutco. All right, so always make sure that all your knives are spick and span, all that good stuff. By the way, is Cutco dishwasher safe?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, but I'd recommend hand washing, hand polishing all your knives. We give you a really cool polishing cloth with your sample set. Gets all the smudges out. All right, treat your Cutco like gold. Those are your show knives, right? All right, so anyhow. We'll talk more about that stuff later. All right, but I remember cleaning off my knives in the kitchen, and my dad came in from his out-of-town trip, and he said, hey, are these the knives that everybody at work's been talking about? He'd already been hearing a few things from some of his coworkers and whatnot, and since I started up seeing a few of them, and so I said, yeah, these are the Cutco knives, and so we did an impromptu demo. My dad said the same thing that Mrs. Tickmeyer said, when I started the demo. Right at the very beginning of the demo, my dad said, son, I know you get paid just to do this, right? I said, yeah, I get paid just to do it, I get paid $10.25. He said, yeah, because we're probably not going to buy anything. We just spent all that money on Chicago cutlery stuff. How many of you guys have ever heard that brand? Anyone ever heard of Chicago cutlery? No? We'll talk about some of these different brands tomorrow. Brand awareness is important for you guys to know what else is out there. We'll even talk about some of the higher quality brands, but Chicago cutlery is not really higher quality. So, but my dad thought it was. What's funny is, that even people at Cook-A-Lot, like my dad, all right, they're not that educated about kitchen cutlery. All right, it's just one of those things that people aren't that educated about, even if they cook a ton. And that's why, because we have a market niche. Love the fact that, guys, we sell Cutco kitchen knives where we get to educate them, and when they make an educated decision, oftentimes, more than not, they make the educated decision, which is to purchase Cutco, which is pretty cool. And that's really all your job is, for the most part, for beginners, is just to educate the customer on the industry, and they'll see what's best. Guys, Cutco sells itself and do that demo. Well, anyhow, that's really what happened in the demo for my dad. I'll never forget, my dad being the ultimate skeptic, saying, hey, we're probably not going to buy anything, we just spent all this money on the Chicago cutlery knives. We get into the cutting demos, and my dad, he was actually in the military. He was like one of only 3 Indians in the military back in the day. He was in the military. And so my dad's one of those stubborn guys. I remember we get to the road cut, and I learned a few things over the course of time. One of the things that I learned is to let the customer keep on going. Don't try to stop the customer. Right? It also makes Cutco look that much better, right? So my dad, he's no joke, literally in triple digits with a Chicago cutlery knife. That won't cut worth a darn through this rope. We're in like the hundreds. I'm like, all right, Dad, you go and stop right there. He's like, no, son, I've got it. My dad's like breaking a sweat through this rope. I'm like, all right, so he finally gets through it, but he's like, he finally gets through it. I can't remember how many strokes, it was like 150, right? He's like, see, son, see, I got it. All right. And guys, you have to remember at this point, they have no clue how Cutco's going to cut, right? So sometimes they actually feel like that's good. The fact that it just got through the rope, right? They feel like that's good. Like 150, all right, yes. All right, and then, he gets to the Cutco knife. Zoom, You know, I swear, like he had to apply, he just got done applying so much pressure with the Chicago cutlery knife that with all the pressure that he was applying with the cutlery knife, it like almost cut the cutting board too, right? You know, I remember he got to that rope, you know, so quickly. By the end of that demo, my dad, he was like, "Boy, son, you were right." You know, and we still joke about this to this day. You know, "Boy, son, you were right. Even if you do stink this, you can still do well. This product really does sell itself." I was like, "Oh, gee, thanks." You know, but that was my dad's way of saying, "Man, the product was." You know, the product is really good. By the end of the demo, my dad didn't buy the big set, he didn't buy the ultimate or big or anything like that. He started off with a little basic set. By the way, these are basic sets right over here. All right, so we're going to talk more about the set options. And over the course of time, my dad has progressed, and now he owns like every house. And you know, guys, one of the things that I love about selling Cutco, and by the way, and about representing Cutco, and the reason why I tell you these stories, they are my favorite, but if you get some reaction from friends or family, you know, it's pretty common. Unless unless you have parents who already own Cutco, you have friends who already, own Cutco or sell Cutco, and of course they'll tell you it's awesome. But the common reaction is you're gonna be doing what? You're gonna be selling, what? Knives? Really, Paul? That's totally okay. You got that reaction, join the club. I hate to put people in groups, but I think people fit pretty easily into these three groups. Oh, and by the way, my dad is one of our biggest supporters ever now, since that point in time, since he saw the demo and saw the quality of the product, but even more so now over the years, because he's seen, what it's done for my confidence. He's seen what it's done for me personally, income-wise. All right, now I have a great career from it. All right, he actually, went from being anti-sales to being really pro, and I wouldn't say he's pro-sales, but really pro-Cutco over the course of time, to the point where he actually sent my little brother down, just over his winter break to work out of my office in Orlando, just to get some experience on his resume, because my brother was a really big introvert, kind of a computer geek, for the most part. And he wanted my little brother to gain more confidence, because my dad started to see that even in the technology world, to get to great leadership positions, in today's day and age, you have to be able to work with people. If you're not able to communicate, then you're always going to be working for somebody else. You're never going to get great leadership positions. You're never going to be able to, get the great income opportunity, the great, you're never going to be able to advance. You're always going to be working for somebody else. And so anyhow, I hate to put people in groups, but I think people fit pretty easily into these three groups. You got the ultimate skeptics. You can't do that, people. You want to be a lawyer? Oh, don't do that. Nobody likes lawyers. I don't have any friends. Oh, I wouldn't do that if I was you. You want to be a doctor? You know how much schooling that takes? You know how much money that costs? Med school? You don't have to be a doctor, right? You got people's lives in your hands. All right? You don't have to them, right? They get sued. Is that what you want? A bunch of lawsuits? I wouldn't be a doctor if I was you. All right? You want a lotto? You know how much tax you're going to pay? No, get that thing, right? Hopefully I don't say that. My point is, these people find the negative in everything, right? Then you have the second person, all right, which is the fence sitter. These people never commit to anything. If they watch ER, they want to be a doctor. Then they watch The Firm, now they want to be a lawyer. Then they watch S.H.I.E.L.D., now they want to be a cop. Then they watch American Idol, now they want to sing. All right? They never decide on anything. They just ride the fences, right? All right, I don't know if you guys noticed, only 39% of people that enroll in state colleges today actually graduate. And they typically blame everybody but who? Yeah, whenever they point the finger that way, whether they point the finger at the school or the teachers, those three fingers point right back at them, right? All right, then you have the third person, who in my opinion, is the person that accomplishes great things. And this is the person who, when they decide to do something, they just do it, all right? They dive in head first, both feet, whatever you want to call it, right? And so earlier we talked about expectations. I don't care what anyone has done in the past, all right? This is a chance for you to start with a clean slate and be as great as you want to be. To remind you of what my job is, it's to ensure your success. Everybody follows the program does great, all right? Now, I have two goals for you guys while working here at Vector. My training objectives, all right? I have two goals. My first goal is financial success. Keisha, I know you're excited about it, right?
Yes.
That's right. I'm sure everybody. Right? First goal is financial success. I want you to make a lot of money. Other jobs want you to give maximum effort and give you minimum pay. You have a Florida standout with the base pay of $13.50. As a college student, I like that because I knew that if I worked, I was going to make some money. What's also exciting is the chance to earn and make more on that incentive side. And by the way, I've been in college both ways. Before Cutco, when I had no money, and trust me, that was not fun. I remember that first year of college, I had to live at home, with my family. It didn't even feel like college. It felt like 13th grade. That's what it felt like. I remember I had to bunk up with my little brother because my dad was in the process of getting remarried, as I mentioned. I had a stepmom, and they had just moved into the house, and so we just had a little 3-bedroom home. And my two stepsisters stayed in a room, and I had to bunk up with my little brother. So that was not fun. Couldn't have friends over. Couldn't even go out to hang out with friends for the most part without having to borrow money from my dad. Just to borrow 20. Just to go out. I have to ask my dad just to borrow $20. That was not a good feeling. I hated borrowing money. So. And trust me, college was a lot more fun after that summer of 2000. Going off to college. That was one of the things that I loved about Cutco is it really gave me my first feeling of financial independence. And so I'm sure that might be part of the reason why some of you guys are really excited about working, is getting that feeling of financial independence, just a gratifying feeling. Especially when you're spending money that you earn, right? You're saving money that you earn, not just somebody gave you, right? And so college is a lot more fun when you have money. Trust me in that. You don't have to worry about how to pay your bills. You focus on other things like your grades. Now money's not everything. Remember that famous saying, all right, you work to live, you don't live to work. Money's not everything, but it does provide freedom. Freedom to do 3 exciting things, if you ask me. Freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whoever the heck you want to do that with. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty darn exciting to me. Like that, Caleb? All right, so now, we have students that have been able to graduate debt-free and have money in the bank in order to be financially stable upon graduation. We have some students who earn anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, even a few over $10,000 over the course of one semester on up. If you're an All-American Scholarship winner, which by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody here in this room, wins an All-American Scholarship. All right? I don't know who it'll be, but typically, out of this type of training class, since you guys are starting at the absolute best time for the fall campaign, you might be wondering why is that? Well, for the scholarship program, so you guys are excited about winning scholarships, it's based upon campaign sales. And you guys are starting at the very beginning of the campaign. So compared it to somebody that might start with us, 2 months into the campaign, it's going to be much tougher for them to win an All-American because they don't have as much time. But you guys have the full 16 weeks in the fall campaign to win an All-American. And if you're wondering what that takes, typically it takes about $20,000 to $25,000 in sales over the course of the campaign. So if you break that down over a 16-week period, my math's not the greatest here, but what is that? It's about $1,400 to $1,500 in sales. Is that about right? $1,400 to $1,500 in sales on a weekly basis. That's that. If somebody's very consistent, they can do that. Or if they have some big weeks and then some other weeks where maybe they don't go as big, or if they have vacay, that's totally fine. But if it ends up being about 20 to 25 grand in sales over the course of the fall, you're an All-American. All right. So now that's that. And those students that win an All-American typically will earn anywhere between, and if you're up over 25, 30 grand in sales, you're earning over 10 grand in income on that incentive side. You're up over 30 G's, right? The second thing that I want you to take, oh, by the way, you guys get a chance to work and learn from All-Americans, in the area. Matt Warren, who's an All-American on there, he was at our team meeting last night. He sold $230,000 to Cutco, UNC Charlotte student. He's planning on, this semester, he's planning on selling $45,000 to Cutco minimum. All right, which by the way, at his percentage level now, because once you get a promotion, you are, you're there. You don't ever have to revisit any of those earlier promotions. All right, so he's at our top incentive level. But Matt, off that 45 grand that he'll sell this upcoming fall, and his real goal is 65 grand, with bare bones minimum 45 grand. By the way, he's done that many a time, so when he says he's going to do something, he does it. Like I said, 230,000 per sales here in the area. But he'll make $22,000 in income, a little bit more than $22,000 in income off the sales at the percentage that he's at, as far as that goes. So pretty exciting. All right, now. Second thing, again, not everybody makes that type of income. He's an All-American, been doing it for a while, but that gives you an idea of the opportunity for super top people, right? Second thing is meaningful experience. The most important thing that you'll take from working with us is experience. Job security is not the company you work for, but on what you do for that company. I want you to gain and develop meaningful sales, business, communication skills that working with Cutco will give you. You will always have to sell yourself. It's no secret the major reason why you'll get a great job after college is not because of textbook knowledge, but because of the experience that you have to offer. Some of the skills we focus a lot on are confidence, communication skills, time management, goal setting, resume experience, and for some of you, maybe even management experience. We were actually featured in the Wall Street Journal. Did you guys get a chance to see that article in your interviews, right? All right, we were actually featured in the Wall Street Journal, about the experience that our representatives get. All right, anyone in here ever heard of Norman Breaker before? Norman Breaker? Shame on you guys. You guys have made him so much money and you don't know who this man is? I'm just kidding, all right? You probably should know of him, but you definitely know those chain food restaurants. He's not one of those guys that likes to be on his commercials or anything like that. But he's actually the person that started all these franchises. And if you're into reading, this is a great book. It's called On the Brink. On the Brink, that's his biography. He actually dedicated an entire chapter in his autobiography to his Cutco selling experience. The fourth chapter is called Cutlery and Jack in the Box. How many of you guys have ever heard of these chain food restaurants? Jack in the Box, Burger King, Cozumels, Chili's, Maggiano's, Italian Grill, the Macaroni Grill. Those are all owned by Brinker International, just to give you guys an idea. And all started by Norman Brinker. He actually dedicated an entire 4th chapter in his autobiography to his Cutco sales experience that he gained while paying his way through college at San Diego State University way back in the, I believe it was in the 60s, as far as that goes. So, but there's even a class at Illinois State University for up all the business majors, and also NC State. It's called the Cutco Project. You guys got the Dr. Hanar letter, right? The Dr. Henry letter. All right, so yeah. Now, when somebody sees Vector on a resume, it's one of the first things that they ask about. You know, why do you think that is? How'd that knife selling thing go, Caleb? You know, why do you think that they ask about that? It looks so much different than so many of the other things they're used to seeing or what's typically on a resume. And think about how powerful it is, by the way, all right, to be able to say, I sold thousands of dollars with the Cutco and paid my way through school by doing so. If they have no idea how awesome Cutco is, if they have no idea that we make all the marine knives, that we're the best in quality, that we're number one, in the kitchen color industry, which many of them don't because it's not something that they research, you guys get what I mean? You know, think about when they see that on the resume. This is what they're thinking in their head. You sold thousands of dollars worth of these and paid your way through school by doing so? Paul, how the heck did you do that? All right, they'll think you're one of the most effective communicators in the world, right? As I look back on my experience, I really didn't sell Cutco to anybody. I showed it to a bunch of people, and I had over 700 people purchase it from me. All right, love the fact that, again, you represent a product that really does sell itself, all right? Now, you might be wondering this right now, so I want to go ahead and handle the elephant that might be in the room, all right? How are we doing so well in this economy? All right, so how are we doing so well in this economy? Well, CNN and Poll did a study. And this can't be good for restaurants, by the way, but they did a study and they asked the American population, what would you give up to save money? All right, 2%, 2% said a car, 16% said cable, 7% said a cell phone, 5% said nothing. Guess what 70% of the people said that they'd stop doing? Yeah, eating out so much. So who's that good for? Yeah, that's good for you guys, all right? It's good for us, right? So a couple tips to help with your training. Here are a couple tips to help with your training, a couple thoughts. A couple tips to help with your training. Got it right, Cam? I'll help you over there. A couple tips to help with your training. Number one, be professional. Be professional. Language, attire, vector time. Guys, it's not like I haven't heard curse words before, all right? But it's not about me, all right? It's about everybody in the team, right? And also the way that you interact here is the way that, I'm probably going to assume you're interacting with the customer. And guys, if there's one person on our team or one customer, then it comes back to me as a leader. So that's why it's important that I hold, these standards, right? All right, so also attire. Why is that? Well, guys, first impressions, right? You don't have to go out and buy a new wardrobe, but try to look nice when you come to training and the meetings and on your appointments. Also, being on time. Guys, vector time is 15 minutes early. I'm going to teach you how to do the job great, but anything else that you can learn is a bonus. Second tip is keep questions on topic. Keep your questions pertinent. If I'm talking about the handle of the knives, it's not the best time to ask about pay raises. Although I love pay raises, I love bonus. Right? But our training is very thorough. It's like Prego or Ragu or whatever the commercial was, right? Or it is. It's all in there. That's right. It's all in there. If you have a personal question, keep them personal. If you want to tell me that you're going to go out, if you want to tell me that you're going out of town, it doesn't really affect anybody else here in the room except for you and me or management staff. So keep that question personal, one-on-one, before or after training or that meeting or event or whatever it is. Now, why we do what we do? Why do you think we sell direct, gang? Why do you think we sell direct? Anybody can answer. Why do you think we sell direct? Why do you think we sell direct? All right. So they can see the product, okay, good. What else?
And it also ensures that the customer will keep the product because if you're one-on-one with them, you can answer any questions they have, you can do the demonstration, you can show them things over and over again, and they have enough time to decide whether or not it's something they really want, so you don't have to rubber stamp.
Yeah, very good. Any questions can be answered by a qualified professional person. You're paid well to be knowledgeable. It also saves the consumer 10 to 40% over store prices and eliminates the retail. All right. Think about Nike. How much do you think it costs to make a pair of Nike athletic shoes? Well, how much do you spend on a pair of Nikes, here at the store? Could be anywhere from 80 to 100 to 150 for like the Jordans, things like that, right? How much do you think it costs to make a pair of those Nike athletic shoes overseas? Less than $1 in many cases, all right? It's just, and by the way, all it is leather and some rubber, and some nylon strings for the most part. And trust me, I know leather doesn't cost as much because I gotta buy it quite often. And I have a good feeling that Nike probably gets a better discount than I do, all right? So, anyhow. And convenience, there are lots of extra hassles that go along with dealing with the retail stores. This is also the reason why the virtual demo is so awesome too. People love the convenience of it, all right? Our reps love the convenience of it too. They can do it from their very own, their very own dorm room or their very own apartment or home or whatever it might be. All right, comfort and personal touch, you mentioned that, Kedra, so very good. All right, bottom line is we sell more because of this. Customers aren't out looking for quality kitchen cutlery, but after we show it to them, they want it, all right? Our next largest competitor in our market does $40 million in North American product sales, just to give you guys an idea. $40 million. Not bad. All right, that's an imported brand from Germany. We're going to talk about that brand tomorrow and some of the other high-quality brands. All right, guys, to give you guys an idea, we do over $250 million in sales. We beat them by 6 times the sales volume. So if you're wondering, hey, does this way work? Well, proof's in the pudding. All right, you guys remember that term in sports, scoreboard, right? Scoreboard never lies, right? All right, now, why do trainees and representatives do their own calling? Why do trainees and representatives do their own calling? Anyone know? Yeah, very good. Maria, it'd be weird if we're calling her grandma, all right? We had a secretary doing it, we had Kelly doing that. All right, it's your grandma, all right? So customers expect the first anchor you're seeing them is the one that's calling them. Also recommendations, guys, are recommended to our reps, so we wouldn't want to hand them to a secretary to call. And also provides flexibility for trainees to schedule vector time around other commitments and appointments. Almost half the workforce doesn't work 9 to 5. You also have complete control over location and the times that you work. You also get experience in different forms of communication, person to person and telephone. By the way, most business in the world today is still done over the phone. That's a very important skill set to have, is phone skills, right? Third, why do we see people we know first? Why don't we just hand up the white pages?
Because you're more comfortable with them, you already gave them the presentation, so they know the product and the quality of it.
Yeah, very good, Kayla. All right, you got it right. More relaxed atmosphere makes it easier to learn. Friends and relatives give more honest feedback. By the way, are they customers? Yeah, of course, all right? And it builds confidence. All right, let me explain something to you. About 60 to 70% of the people that you guys show Cutco to will say, sure, Eric, you can come over. All right, sure, I'll do an appointment with you. All right, but I'm not going to buy anything. All right, what do you think happens majority of the time? Yeah, they end up buying, all right? So think about that. You told them over the phone that you were paid just to do it. They know that you're still paid just to do it, and they still end up buying. What do you think that does to your confidence? Boost it, all right? Definitely, it did for me, all right? We also want people to judge the product, not you that already sold on you. And also the recommendations that you get. How many recommendations do we average per appointment? Can you remember? 5 to 10, very good. All right, now I'm going to teach you, by the way, how to average 10 plus. It's one of the things that we're phenomenal at in this office. We take a lot of pride in that. Guys, that was one of the things that I had to learn very early on as a rep, because back 13 years ago, we didn't have virtual demo. Internet wasn't even that huge yet, then, or cell phones or any of that stuff. And so I had to be really good because I sold Cutco my first summer in Daytona. All right, but then I had to start in Tallahassee, a brand new area when I went off to college after that summer. And so recommendations was something that I had to be a pro at, because I was starting from scratch up in Tallahassee and I had to build my base from scratch really from 1 to 2 appointments. And so we're phenomenal at teaching that here in this office. And you guys will see that when you see some of our representatives' recommendation notebooks. They have so many to the point where it's not a matter of do they have enough, but it's really then a positive problem. Who are the best ones? And we'll teach you how to qualify and see the cream of the crop, so to speak. Right? Now. And also what's great, gang, is that regardless of whether or not you know them, you don't have to sacrifice respect for sale. What do I mean by that? Guys, what I mean by that is that I feel comfortable with my mom, my dad, buying everything that Cutco has. And they pretty much have done that, all right? And the reason why I feel comfortable with that is because I know that they'd be glad, all right? And when they're glad, I'm glad, all right? And so guys, if I can feel good with my parents buying or owning everything that Cutco has, I can feel good with anybody buying this stuff from me. You never have to hide from a customer. Trust me, from somebody that's been in the business for 13 years now, it's funny. I get Facebook posts and messages all the time. I got one just a week ago from one of my first customers that I sold way back when, the Dunn family. And her daughter now is getting married and whatnot. And she wanted to buy her a nice set, so she got her a galley set. But it just happens all the time. Guys, Cutco is literally the product, as a product, you might want to write this down, it's a product that appreciates, it doesn't depreciate. When somebody has it and uses it in their home, they just gain more value for it. They love it more and more. That's why we have so many repeat customers. We've done over $1 billion in repeat business now as a company. So when you run into those people at own Cutco, whether you're still with the company or not, years down the road, right? It's one of the first things in many cases that they'll ask you about or talk to you about. You remember those knives that you sold me? Yeah, that spatula spreader that I got, man, I still use that every day. It's fired up. Now your first 10 days, before we have Cam, by the way, do you think it'll help you guys to be able to watch a demo, all right, before we teach it to you?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have Cam do that for you here today. He's gonna do his demo for you guys, to show you guys what a demo should look like. He'll at least show you the first 4 steps, in making a sale, so to speak, or doing an appointment. All right, and then tomorrow we'll